And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! KO! Here's the cover!
Hey, what's up guys? And we're back here today with a, video for the tank that's going to be on track this week, which is the Leopard 1 or the Leo 1. Tier 10 German medium tank, which, if you like scouts like I do, it's very kind of similar to that kind of play style, and what you're getting in terms of, well, a very good gun, a much better gun than any of the scout tanks have at tier 10, even the Panzer wagon. But you're also getting that paper armor and kind of the playstyle of a light tank to a certain extent. And you kind of see that in these two games, and it kind of highlights some of the, I guess, the advantages of this tank versus the kind of drawbacks of it. You definitely see the drawbacks of it towards the end here of this game on Namaha. If I totally butchered that, I apologize, but I'll give it my best shot. So, this grind was not too bad for me. I did this line way back when. I don't believe I played the Indian Panzer. I believe I played when the RU was tier 8 you went off of. So it gives a little bit of notice of how long ago I got the Leopard 1. It's a tank that could maybe use a little bit of a buff at this point in terms of what it's going up against, and you kind of see that at the end here, just in terms of what this tank kind of brings to the table. But from this point on Namaha, I generally like to take a position like this. And the Leopard 1 has like virtually no armor. You'll get some weird random bounces, but nothing. You never want to use the armor on this thing for consistent purposes because it's non-existent. But you do have a laser of a gun with this 105mm you have here. I believe it has like 268 pen on these APCR rounds, and I do like to stick back here in tanks that are sort of like this, that are kind of paper, or especially in the mediums. It's not like a Russian medium or something like that where I'm going to be really far back. Seem a little antique because I'm trying to get some light, some spots here further down on them. Hopefully pushing this kind of area. I don't want to go too far because, again, if I get spotted, everybody can pen me, and everybody's going to shoot me because I'm an easy pen and easy damage. So at the most, I want to try to stick back. That's kind of the playstyle of the Leopard 1. You're not going to be brawling in this thing. You kind of want to be at a distance. And with that wonderful gun, you're going to bounce off the turret roofs of M103s to the sidearm. So keep that in mind when you're playing this thing. But, no, just kidding. But overall, I think the grind on this tank, to get this tank, is even better now. Because I've never played the Indian Panzer, so I don't know what it's like personally. I've heard it's not awful, at least what I understand. But the tier 9, the Leo PTA, it used to be kind of trash, I'm not going to lie, but now it's probably one of the best tier 9 mediums. It's received multiple buffs over the years, and the state it's in right now is really, really good. The only maybe downside of it is, that I know of, minus the armor, which is, if you're grinding this line you already know about, it's not really much of a downside, just a fact that you kind of live with, is it's got a weak ammo rack, and that kind of applies to the Leo 1 as well. So you have to keep that in mind a little bit. You don't want to get shot too much, because again, not only do you have no armor, you also have some weak modules that can detonate and you can lose your entire hit points. So, kind of bearing that in mind, you're looking at a very easy grind. PTA is basically just the tier 9 version of this tank. They're really not any different at all. So, if you have the tier 9, or having the tier 9, do you expect the tier 10 to improve on some of the aspects of the tank a little bit more? Tier for tier, I'd probably say the PTA may be better, just based off what tanks you fight. In this thing, you're going up against a lot more mediums that are a little beefier for this tier. Stuff like the Chisel, 48 Pat, and stuff like that, where the no armor on this tank is kind of more obvious in terms of you can notice it when you're playing. At least that's my kind of opinion of it. And so far this game, we haven't done too much. And again, the rate of fire on this gun, it's okay. You see a 7-second reload on this. It's not terrible. but it's not the best at this tier as well, but it is pinpoint accurate. And I don't say that about a lot of guns. Very rarely do you have any kind of shots like on the M103 earlier that just kind of go off and bounce randomly. Pretty much have like a laser beam with this thing, at least from my experience with it. Obviously, there are exceptions, and RNG will screw you over on occasion. And you can see how we're kind of playing this game very on the periphery of the map so far. We haven't really been up on the front lines too much. You could argue that last position we were at kind of was, and now we're going to be a little more aggressive in terms of where we're going, as we're going to try to take out 260, but Russia's going to say, nah, not today, sir. But luckily our 215B does shut him down. Hopefully we're going to try to keep him alive, or 215B that is, in this situation, because he has the armor to actually bounce shots, while we can hopefully take advantage of that distraction from him and put some shots into guys while they don't have line of sight on me. That makes kind of sense there. Such as the 705A, but I want to focus down the Sheridan, snapshot him. A little lucky there. PJ's not, Leo 1, sorry, it's not the best at snapshotting, but it's okay at it. It's not like a Russian medium. You don't want to do that too often, as you do track the 705A. Trying to go for another kind of tracking shot. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but it does do some damage, which is good. Obviously, with this tank, it's made of paper. Already has another problem with this thing, and that you can definitely get one-shotted very easily with a direct hit from any of the RDs at this tier. So you don't really want to sit still too much, or you want to make sure you're in what you think is already solid RD cover. Knock on wood for that one. Good luck with that. And here we're kind of struggling here. We should just load heat for this 705. He keeps angling in awkward ways, but that one he over angles, and we're able to shut him down finally for a 4th kill. Very close game so far. And we're starting to get into a point where we may have to start using our hit points, but I really like to avoid that if I at all can, as we butcher that shot. Because I haven't seen their T95E6 at all this game, really. I'm guessing he's on the other flank somewheres. And they still have the, I think it's a 4005 pre-nerf, so I'd rather not get just shut down by him. It should be shut down their Tiger 2. And now me and this light tank are going to hopefully do some pretty good teamwork here towards the end of this game. It's nice to have somebody else to work with. And we're going to go on the 705A. He's isolated. We're going in. And so is our Bulldog, and he's able to get around and put a shot into him. And we're going to finish him off for our 6th kill of the game and a Top Gun. So, it's not a bad way to get to this point in the game. Only 4,000 damage though, which is a little lackluster, if I'm at all honest. Not the best result, still a good result. But let's see if we can't pump these numbers up a little bit, because right now these are still kind of rookie numbers. And we need to get back, because our 2 heavies that are capping are getting kind of pushed by a 4005 who is on full health, and I don't really want to face him in a one-on-one kind of situation, as they're already still alive. Shuts down our AMX M454, and we do spot, or somebody spots, the T95E6 on their team back there behind me. So I know this Death Barn, the Shift Barn, is pretty much by himself. I have the HE loaded, and whew, nice unit alpha did over 500 damage. Probably doing some modular damage to him as well, and we're able to put a second one in for another 500 damage. Luckily our E100 does hit him. Hits him with HE, I believe, if I'm at all honest, doing 906 damage. It is possible for him to have rolled that high, it is, but I'm pretty sure that was HE. Just making a guess. Well, you got really lucky otherwise. And now we're kind of playing a cat and mouse game as we get stuck on invisible rocks in the ground. And I'm waiting for my light tank to get here. He spots him actually, and I'm using the third person to see where he's spotting or looking at. But he shuts him down regardless, and he's going to go after artillery, which is kind of not the best thing to do at this moment. I'd rather go after the T95E6, and hopefully we can catch him at long range, because otherwise if we catch him in a brawl face to face, it's going to be hard because we don't have armor. He has the DPM over us and the alpha and a little bit of armor. It's going to be really awkward if we run into him in any kind of situation that's not at a distance. And yeah, there we go. pretty much the nightmare scenario for this endgame moment right here, as we've put shots into each other. But again, he has the DPM, and he also has the armor here, and also the hit points. So this is a really awkward situation for me, and we are putting shots into him very consistently, but again, he's also putting them into us. It would have been nice, and that one bounces, which is not good for us at all. It puts us at a way more disadvantage. He doesn't ram us there, which is kind of a misplay. He could have done several more damage to us. And again, you can see that reload on him is really, really good. And I really wish our Bulldog had gone with us here, but he couldn't have really bricked this. And we were able to put one more shot. Unfortunately, he takes out our Bulldog, but that does put him down to one shot as well. And Sir Ping's Light is going to keep pinging me. This guy's a toxic player. If you ever see him, just ignore him. Really, really do it. And we were able to shut down the T95E6 for the final kill and finish off that game, even though that was pretty much the nightmare scenario at the end. Staying a little bit cool-headed and picking up our 7th kill for the win. And 7k damage. So an okay game, or a good game, with 4k damage, went up to 7k very quickly, but that was very tense at the end because that was not what you want to ideally do in that kind of scenario. What you really want to do in the Leopard 1 in those kind of clutch situations is be at a distance, and that'll be in the second game. We'll see that. As this guy, as you see, is a wonderful person, and if you ever see him, highly recommend just avoiding him or blocking him. He's just an utter troll, and yeah, fun shout out for that person. So there you go. First game, 7k damage, 7 kills, no assisted, unfortunately. And we even picked up the sniper medal, which you will do very often in the Leopard 1 if you make use of the gun fairly well. So second game, we're in a platoon now on one of my favorite maps, to be honest. Redshire is probably a top 5 map for me in the game right now. Always has been. It's just a pretty well balanced game, even in both versions of it, 1944 or the old version, the regular Redshire. And it's pretty much one of those ideal maps you want to see in the Leopard 1. Really any medium with gun depression. But this could work really well for us. Again, we're playing with Jokers and Rooney. They're in the E50Ms, so they have a little bit more armor than me. But they're going to go, we're all going to go to the hills in mediums. You don't really want to push the other side of medium tanks. That's the heavy corner. It's just not a good idea. There's no arty in this game, so we don't have to worry about that at all, which is good. And we're in a platoon, so we're going to push just a little more aggressively than if I was solo. As you try to RBRT, and unfortunately we hit Jokers instead. And we're also going to be a little more aggressive in terms of our positioning with the Leopard 1. Last game, you can kind of see we were a little more passive since we were playing solo. I generally like to do that because I don't trust teammates too much in the game unless I know they're, or see how they're playing. Kind of like that Bulldog in that game last time. So we snapped that one. Luckily, it goes in. The only thing we have to kind of keep in mind this game is there's 3 tank destroyers that are on their team, including another 4005. And kind of keep that in mind because we don't really want to get shot by that. Could have easily get one-shotted because again these are pre-last Tuesday games that I'm putting up. This game actually came from the same stream as the Tusk game, and I think I had another clutch. That stream from last week was pretty ridiculous if you were there. I think I had, including this, the Tusk game, and like 1 or 2 others, like clutch games against multiple enemies. It was kind of ridiculous. Probably one of the better days of tanks I've had in quite a while, and just pretty enjoyable time. But so far, not much is happening. We had that one snapshot on the guy in the 277, and at this point, we're just kind of being patient. I don't want to push anything too aggressively because again, we don't have the armor for it. Just kind of searching for shots. See if we can't poke around and pick off somebody, and just kind of keep the head on the swivel. Always like to do that. And we know we have nobody that went the other flank. That's okay. We're all fairly confident we can defend our base from this side fairly well with 3 of us. And if they start pushing that way, and that's what we're kind of doing. I'm kind of saying, I think at this point, okay guys, we kind of need to work on defending the base here a little bit, because that side, nothing's happening, and we're not really getting any shots. We're kind of wasting time. And let's just go to the flank that they're pushing fairly aggressively at this point. And I think we even said we're just going to go in on these guys, because it doesn't seem like there's that many of them spotted over there. A lot of their team is behind us where we initially went, looking for a shot on the IS-4. And he does oblige and goes up and over, and we're able to slam one into his side armor for our second shot at damage of the game, nearly 3 minutes in. So not really the bonfire or the record-setting start to a game ever. As you see, we're just going in on these two, IS-4 and the ISM were taken out. Again, I'm not really leading the charge here. It's not something you really want to do too much in the Leopard 1. I think earlier I said it plays kind of like a scout, and I'd almost say it plays like a more passive scout in terms of how you want to play it. I generally don't circle. You're not going to see me circling stuff in this, because the agility, I've heard people say, oh, why play light tanks over medium tanks if they all just do their job better. They have better guns, same rear range, stuff like that. And then I would bring up, like, okay, yeah, scouts have better agility though, and usually better speed. And it's like, oh, that's not that big of an advantage. Well, it kind of is, because you can do a lot more crazy stuff in light tanks. Like a Panzer Wagon, I can be around the map a lot quicker. Leopard 1 is still really fast. You can see me doing 60 plus here easily, but you don't have quite the agility of Panzer Wagon or any of the other light tanks. So you're not going to see me playing so much on the front lines being aggressive. You're going to see me more in the periphery of the map, kind of being a sneaky little pest, putting shots into them and hopefully getting their flanks from a distance and using that kind of range. Fortunately, that guy slams one into me, which kind of, it sucks, because now I'm an easy one shot for the 4005 regardless. And our batch at AP is just going full ham in here, so I don't need to rush in also. He's distracting them. I can sit at a distance and just farm them from 380 meters plus and go from there. And now I've got side shots on these guys as well. Put one into the E6, tracks him, uses repair kit more than likely, and I know the 4005 is in that back corner, so I don't want to push too much yet. I should put another one into him, and that one sets him on fire and kills him. That's a fairly important kill, because he was spotting Jokers and Roni up on the hill, so now they should have a little bit better range over there. They don't have to worry about him right in their face. They can deal with the guys near the castle, hopefully. Now my job is to push up a little bit. I'm kind of asking them if they have shots on this 4005, maybe, if I push up and spot him. The worst case scenario is that the 4005 popped over this Ridge line right now, but I don't think he's going to do that, because I think he's going to be aiming up at Roni and Jokers. At least that's my kind of guess. Again, I have HE loaded, and I'm looking for the 4005. And we find him, put the HE shell into him, and he has the gun depression, unlike the 183 to peek that Ridge line. That HE round was a little bit of a low roll, only 452, but we'll still take it, because that's better than an R390 Alpha usually would. You could high roll, but not in this case. So, it's a decent medium tank overall. It's a little more passive, and now we have to kind of turn our attention. And I don't like being in this situation in the Leopard, because I don't have any of the armor. Playing chicken with a 4005 with this turret is not really the best scenario. He fires and misses and snapshots into the ground. I'm thinking about pushing him, but that's not a good idea. By the time I even get near him, 10 plus seconds he's going to eclipse, and I don't know if I can even get around his side in time before that happens. And at this point, they're both dead, both of them are gone, and I have to do what's best for me. I go through the cap, which is kind of an okay play, because it may get them to go this way, and maybe I can kind of draw them in across the open field. And this is what I'm talking about. Last game was like the nightmare scenario in the clutch situation, where we ran right into the guy with more armor and with more DPM head to head, and we won just simply because their bulldog distracted him for a second, or our bulldog distracted him for a second, which is good. Now I want to do what's the best thing in this case for the Leopard 1 is to get it range, use my camo, use my rear range, use my laser precision gun basically, and kind of just outspot them. My priority in this situation, for a clutch situation, I want to focus the medium tank first, I believe. I'm also asking platoon mates at this point, how much health is everybody on? I know how much health the 4005 is on at this point. He's a 3-shot at like 950 health-ish. And then they say the OHO is a 1-shot, and then the UDES is a 1-shot, and then the Conqueror was about a 3-shot as well, as we slam one into the Conqueror for the first shot. But I really want to get the UDES out because he probably has the best view range, hypothetically, in camo, so he could be the one that spots me the easiest. And if I can, I also want to push up the Conqueror, simply because he has the most health. And we spot the UDES, shut him down, takes out their view range and camo effectively, and I should be able to outspot the rest of these guys fairly easily. Conqueror is probably the least, probably the one most likely, I should say, to spot me. 4005 and especially the OHO are fairly-ish blind, or have way worse camo than me, especially since the 4005 is huge. And at this point, I think they have a fairly good idea of where I'm at, so I'm going to try to reposition and throw them off a little bit. Trying to be a little cautious, just dampening my speed a little tiny bit there in case I spot something. But I'm fairly certain that the Conqueror is going to try to go up and around the hill. They're going to think I'm on that heavy line. So I'm going to push over here and get back up into these hills and see if I can't spot any of them trying to go up the hill directly. Just using that mobility to be kind of unpredictable while trying to predict their movements based on where I last was and where the shots last came from. Because obviously they haven't spotted me yet, but they know kind of where, or they should know where the shots are coming from or where I ran to initially. So, and that kind of seems that's the case here. I haven't ran into any of them. Being a little more cautious in this area because the 4005 could very easily have just sat up on these hills and provided overwatch across the map. Very viable. So again, just being kind of cautious, and he could also be on the backside of this hill right in front of me. So just taking it slow, taking it easy, and looking around. And again, playing the Leopard 1 to its advantage of having that great vision and view range, basically, or camo. So, is it a tank I recommend? Maybe grinding? Yes. I would say if you like the kind of scout kind of gameplay, like mediums, as you put one into the Conqueror, as you spot him across the map, you see that camo, that view range and work. Hey, 362 health, so we should kill him, but we low roll, so we don't kill him. And then we go for the other shot, and that doesn't happen. And then we probably should have just shot the 4005 there, because we probably could have got 2 shots into him. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You only get 1 into him, but that's still good, because I'd rather not try to duke it out with the 4005. If I can get him down to a 1-shot by shooting him in the open, that's going to be good for us. It's going to be great. Because otherwise he's going to win an alpha trade every day of the week. And then some. So getting and kind of chipping away at his health if we can from a distance is going to help us a ton here. I guess I should mention what I'm running equipment-wise at this point on this thing. You can obviously see large repair kit, large med kit, chocolate. I never had too much of an issue with fire on these things, but it's German, so take it with what you will with it, I guess. Taking some speculative blind shots, because Leopard 1 also gets a ton of ammo, if you haven't noticed that already as well. You haven't noticed, either of these games, I've used no heat rounds. I don't care about using premium at all. I don't care. Whatever, it's part of the game. But the gun handling and just the precision of this thing with 268 pen is, I rarely need it, at least I find. But it's there if you need it for some stuff like Type 5 heavies or anything like that. But again, I'm running the pretty standard equipment loadout on this thing of gun rammer, optics, and vert stabs. Pretty much the standard medium tank loadout. I don't really recommend anything else besides that. And here we actually do spot the Conqueror. Now we're only at 350 meters from this guy, so we're gonna get spotted more than likely, and we do. But we're able to kill him and finish him off. And now I'm just praying that the 4005 does not have a line of sight on me. Just doing a little wiggle, 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 and there we go. We safely escape and get out of the way of harm. So, bring this down to a 1 versus 2 now. The Oho, we haven't spotted the Oho actually yet, so I think he's up where the 4005 was headed, just based on process of elimination on the map. But I'm not 100% sure, so I don't know exactly where he's at. I know exactly where the 4005 is at, even though he has been spotted for a while. I should say I know generally where he's at. He's going to be up on that heavy tank corridor. But now we only have 2 minutes. If I just played too passively at this point, we're going to lose. So I had to push the initiative here. And I'm kind of doing that by, there we go, picking up the spot on the 4005. Seeing if we can't finish him off, but his repair speed is good enough to pull back into cover. And we're not able to kill him, but we are able to put another shot into him. And again, you can see the excellent camo there at work on this tank. Now, this thing will obviously struggle a little bit on corridor maps with the no armor. This is kind of the way of the beast with this thing. And in that case, you're going to play it like the scouts, be annoying, take advantage of people's attention span, I guess, on those type of maps. And as we're going up from the 4005, we actually pick up the spot on the Oho. And he's a one shot, like I said, and we were to finish him off. And at this point, I knocked the 3 down, and I'm going to guess that the 4005, since he just saw his Oho dies, probably figuring that I'm coming to get him from that direction, so that's where he's going to be aiming at, because he knew where his teammate was at. So I'm going to go from the left side over here and see if I can't sneak up on him. And there we go, we pick up the spot, and sure enough, he's looking that way, towards where the Oho died, and we pick up the kill, and finish off the game with our 5th kill, and just over probably 6,000 damage there. And finishing off the 1 versus 4 with a win in the Leopard 1 for a pretty solid game, actually. Not anything crazy, 6,400 damage almost. Not an ace, but a real fun game to play. Not the best result I've ever had in Leopard 1. Actually, I think the Leopard 1 holds my best record for most combined damage. It's like 7k and 7k assisted. Very old video on the channel. It's one of the first gameplays I put up, actually, if you would look that up. But yeah, fun tank. You'll probably like it if you like mediums or light tanks. It's a good tank to grind for, easy grind. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya. Peace.